Chapter 9 is called Telling the Story. Finally, the hugging and crying and laughing died down. The villagers started walking back to their huts. Jack and Annie followed Boca, Kiama, and their parents. "We felt the ground shaking," said Boca and Kiama's father. "We knew a big wave might follow." "Jack saved us," said Boca. "He read in a book and found out about the big waves." "What's a book?" asked his mother. "Show them," Annie said to Jack. Jack reached into his pack and took out their research book. "It tells about the big waves here," he said. "Books give lots of information." "Ah," said Boca and Kiama's father. "A book is a good thing." "Books tell stories too," said Annie. "That is impossible," said Kiama. "The books cannot move its feet or wave its hands. It cannot sing or chant." "That's true," said Jack, smiling. "Now we should do the hula," Boca said to Annie, Kiama, and Jack, "and tell our story." "I'll watch," said Jack, stepping away. Boca and Kiama's father called for music. The villagers gathered around. A man started to play a pipe. A teenage boy knocked two sticks together. Some women began shaking rattles. Boca, Kiama, and Annie waved their hands in time to the music. They stepped from side to side and they swayed their hips. Kiama chanted about going out into the water. She, Boca, and Annie waved their hands to show how they paddled out to sea. Kiama chanted about how Jack had warned them. She and the others waved their hands to show how they rode their surfboards to shore. Then Jack surprised himself. He waved his hands to show how he rode his surfboard like a bird soaring through the air. The next thing he knew, he was stepping from side to side. He was swaying his hips. He was doing the hula. Kiama chanted about how the water had pulled away from the shore and how they had climbed to safety, and how the giant wave had crashed against the cliff. As Kiama chanted the story, all the villagers joined in the dance. The tall grasses swayed, the palm trees swayed, and all the hula dancers swayed too. When the story ended, everyone clapped. "Thanks for helping us," Boca said to Jack and Annie. "We're a good team," said Annie. "We are best friends," said Kiama. "Yeah," said Jack. "I'm sorry I said mean things." "Well, we're sorry we laughed at you," said Boca. "I'm sorry I grabbed the book," said Annie. "Our mother says friendship is like riding the waves," said Kiama. "Sometimes you ride low, gentle waves. Sometimes you ride high, rough ones." Annie gasped. She looked at Jack. She repeated Morgan's rhyme. "To find a special magic, build a special kind of ship that rides the waves both high and low on every kind of trip." "Friendship! That's the ship," said Jack. "And we built it," said Annie. She and Jack burst out laughing. Boca and Kiama looked a little confused, but they laughed too. "We have to go back to our own house now," Annie said to Boca and Kiama. "It's time to say goodbye," said Jack. "We never say goodbye," said Kiama. "We say aloha when we greet our friends, and we say aloha when we leave them." "Friends are always together," said Boca, "even when they are apart." "Have a good journey in your magic tree house," said Kiama. "Thanks," said Jack and Annie. They waved to all the villagers. "Aloha! Aloha, everyone!" Then Annie and Jack started through the meadow. The yellow birds and orange and black butterflies flitted about them. At the edge of the meadow, they came to the grove of palm trees. They climbed up the rope ladder into the tree house. Out the window, Jack saw the tall mountains, the small village, the flowery meadow, and the ocean. The water was peaceful again. "I still have my lei," said Annie. She took it off. Though the red flowers were wet, they were still a little fluffy. "It's proof that we found the special magic," said Jack, "the magic of friendship." Annie put the lei on the floor next to the play scrolls, the twig, and the corn seeds. Then she picked up the Pennsylvania book. "You ready?" she asked. Jack sighed. "I love Hawaii," he said. "Finally, you admit it," said Annie. She pointed at a picture of the Frog Creek woods. "I wish we could go home. now. The wind started to blow. The treehouse started to spin. It spun faster and faster, and then everything was still. Absolutely still. Chapter 10, Everyday Magic. Jack opened his eyes. The sun was setting beyond the woods. No time at all had passed at Frog Creek. "Welcome back," said a soft, lovely voice. Morgan Le Fay was in the magic treehouse. "Morgan!" cried Annie. She threw her arms around the enchantress. Jack hugged Morgan too. "Look, Morgan," said Annie. "We have proof. We found our special kind of magic." "Yes, I see," said Morgan. Morgan picked up the play scrolls that Shakespeare had given Jack and Annie in Old England. "You found the magic of theater," she said. Morgan picked up the twig from a mountain gorilla in the African cloud forest. "And the magic of animals," she said. Morgan picked up the pouch of corn seeds from their trip through the first Thanksgiving. "And the magic of community," she said. Finally, Morgan picked up the wreath of flowers from Kiama and Boca. "And you discovered the magic of friendship," she said. Morgan looked at Jack and Annie for a long moment. "Listen carefully to what I am about to tell you," she said. "Yes?" They both leaned forward. "You are now magicians of everyday magic," said Morgan. "You have learned to find the magic in things you encounter on Earth every day. There are many other forms of everyday magic. You never have to look to find it. You only have to live your life to the fullest." Jack and Annie nodded. "Soon you will be called upon to use your knowledge of everyday magic in the realm of fantasy." "The realm of fantasy," said Jack. "Are we going back to Camelot?" said Annie. But before Morgan could answer, a shout came from the distance. "Jack! Annie!" "Our dad's calling," said Annie. "Well, you must go home now," said Morgan gently. "Rest and get ready to test your powers. Your most exciting challenges are yet to come." "Goodbye, Morgan," said Annie and Jack. They hugged the enchantress. Then Jack took the Hawaii book out of his pack and gave it to Morgan. He put on his backpack and followed Annie down the ladder. When they stepped onto the ground, there was a great roar above them. Jack and Annie looked up. A swirl of sparkling light lit the top of the tree. Then the light was gone. The tree house was gone. Morgan Le Fay was gone too. Jack and Annie didn't speak for a long moment. Then Jack broke the silence. "Our most exciting challenges are yet to come," he said. "What do you think Morgan meant by that?" "I don't know," said Annie. "Sounds a little scary," said Jack. "That's okay. We can handle it," said Annie. She smiled. "We're magicians of everyday magic." Jack smiled. "Yeah," he said. "I guess we are." They walked out of the woods as the sun was setting. Down the street, their mom and dad were standing on their front porch. They waved at Jack and Annie. Jack felt a surge of happiness. There's another kind of everyday magic, he thought. The magic of family. In that moment, it seemed the best magic of all. So I want to go back for just a second to the part where Boca tells them friends are always together, even when they are far apart. And I hope that now, while we've been so far apart for such a long time, that you do remember that you all are friends and you're all still there for each other. We may not get to see each other every day in person, but we were thinking about each other and we still love each other. So we're all still friends, even though we're still so far apart. So hopefully I will get to see you soon. Bye.